Out the ball. That's on me. I'll hit him up.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet.
The intro that we're doing
The new intro.
for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Katie and I are working on.
He's got a fucking.
No, I got a guy that did my logo. Remember that one I sent you though?
That's
for
very
us.
different. I'm talking about. I'm
yeah.
talking about the videographer who's going to do our.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Are we what?
Whoa, we
Live.
mother.
Yeah, we're live. So it's all good.
today.
Let a few people join in. We'll get.
Yeah,
We'll get down to business here in a minute.
We'll start with a warm up. Start with a warm
Warm
up.
up.
What's up, Instagram?
With the IG over here.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna last tonight though.
You know what? Here's what I've learned. If you go live on the business page, it shuts it off. If you go live on your personal,
Oh, if you just go live on Casey's page.
Casey,
Okay,
and
same
so
shit, same shit.
yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Well, you can share it at PBA now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can share Instagram. I need to get more active on that, man. You know what? That's the.
Yo, IG's where it's at on some places.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a different.
Sorry, brother. Excuse me.
You got to understand where your target audience lives.
That's what I was about to say. That there's a different audience on the IG
On
side.
each channel.
Yeah. Where's the audience in LinkedIn? Is that more like
Business to business.
business
Yeah,
to business?
B2B.
But either way, that's still right up all three of our alleys because don't think for one moment that restaurants, gyms,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
freaking dealerships, everybody needs.
I just had a
it that you
school
need.
district call me today and ask me to start bidding on some of their educational.
Schools.
Yeah, so
So
Goodness,
you need to
so-
get you a DUNS number. You need to get yourself a cage number so you can start bidding on those districts.
we're gonna have to get an offline topic on that one because
Yeah.
you're speaking some.
And there's some things that
some
you have to
done
do.
numbers.
DUNS,
There's some things that you have to do.
NAIC codes.
I know those.
Yeah, but
Anyways, we're winning on Wednesdays over here. As you can
winning.
tell. We're always talking about how to improve our businesses, and we're always getting input from each other and even others in our alliance that are helping us grow. Doc and I were just talking kind of offline about how important it is to multiply yourself by adding to your team. And I was just telling him, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm up from last year, this, that, and the other. And he just kind of looked at me like, told you so. I saw it in his face. So I get it, man. But hey, tell me, let's hear some wins for the week, baby.
Wednesday is for winning, and today, let's hear yours, Doc. Let's hear yours.
I actually posted this morning on my personal page about Wednesday wins. And so I want to tell you where I am winning at. And it's not financially, it's not business related. Where I won at this past week was developing new relationships with people that I'd never think I'd be a part of. Being able to have the tenacity to adapt and overcome adversity.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever we have a mental clarity about ourselves, we're able to win no matter how many times we get punched in the what. We won't say it, Jen, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? No matter how often the universe decides to just throw us curveballs, as long as I build up our win columns, right? So I had a big team meeting on Tuesday afternoon, man, and
saw that, yeah.
It was great. We had eight guys. I'm up to 9 people now here at Doc's. Which is freaking huge. Never in my mind would I've ever thought that I'd be there. And these people came willing to come with and work with me.
Hey, when you shine a bright light, people want to see it.
Yeah, they're like, and I told them that. I was like, so because I asked every one of them that's part of this team. I didn't send out ZipRecruiter. I didn't freaking post an ad. I didn't do any of that. They called me up and they're like, hey man, are you hiring? Can we come work with you? And I don't know what it is about me personally. And maybe my high energy and maybe whatever it is that draws people to me. But that's a fucking win for me.
I think it is. You know what? I hate to rain on your parade, Doc, but it ain't you, brother.
It's not.
It's your synergy and it's your culture. It's
So,
what we always talk about, right?
right. Yeah.
People like you. That's no doubt. But when people want to work for other people, it's because they see a good culture.
Right.
Right. And think of how many jobs we've left working for other people because the culture sucked. Making $100,000 a year over here, but the culture sucks.
Yeah.
I just dipped out on one of those jobs with San Diego. I could have had it made.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck this. I can't be with this. So I think you're building a great culture. And it's something that if you guys want to latch onto this guy and come ride in the truck with him one day and just see how he does business, get a hold of him because it's nonstop from freaking.
It's straight chaos.
It's structured chaos.
And so it's funny you said that. We had one of the new guys, and I was like, "Hey, you're riding with me today." And
He's like, what?
He was like, "All right, cool." And so we'd be driving, boom, phone rings. I take the call. and we pick up another conversation. Boom, phone rings, and finally he's like, Doc. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, how do you do this? He's like, how are you able to juggle a bounce from being a drug tester to a home flipper to a roofing to a counselor from when friends call you? You know what I mean? And I said, I don't know. I said, all I know is that allow that power bigger than myself to take over when that phone rings.
Yeah.
So whatever comes out of my suck, it's not me talking. It's something bigger than me talking. Because you guys all know what my core values are, which is God, health, and wealth. And I lean on that very, very heavily. So that is really what my wins are about today, is being able to continue to push through adversity and fucking conquer this god doggone world.
I love it because your mindset is 180 degrees different from last Wednesday when I walked in here and I said, keep playing the game, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you were down.
Yeah,
But you surround yourself with good people that tell you, hey, suck it the fuck up and keep moving, because sometimes that's what you need to hear. And just roll with it. Roll with the punches. And
you have to.
Be blessed and be humble and move forward. What about you, brother? You up to 5 miles yet?
No. I'm still easing and building. And today I started putting some leads out for a personal trainer.
I got you, bro.
Yeah. you start over there, and once you master it, you just come on over anytime, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
And we'll go play.
That's good. But you got to remember, 15 months ago,
you're wheelchair bound.
Wheelchair, right? Broken back, broken foot, broken hand.
Still old as hell.
Yeah, still old as hell. But you know what? That's all right. That's all right, because an old boxer, the last thing an old boxer loses is his punch bombs.
Yeah.
So today I had to go down to the Dallas courthouse, not my favorite fucking place in the world. Right? But I'm down with the grind. Like, I'm an old boxer, and I know you got to go to some of these stinky old sweaty gyms and smell, feet and gym sock and whatever, jock strap. But you go in that ring and it didn't go quite right. Right? That, like, there was a problem, there was this, there was that. Down there all day. Then we started having internet problems, and then printers, and you can't use this, you can't use that.
Yeah.
But it is a lot like boxing, right? It's how many hits you take, right? How many hits you take, stay on your feet, land more that count than you take, right? And don't quit.
And then learn from the ones you take.
Yeah, learn or you win, right? Learn or you win. But we hung in there, and we hung in there, and we hung in there. And at the end of the day, at 4:00, we're walking out with a golden piece of paper, an order that is exactly what, what problem did my client come for me to solve? And we delivered, right?
Solve the why.
We got
Nice.
the reason why he wanted to be our customer, our client, right? And so, again, it's all about hanging in there, landing more punches than you take, staying on your feet, and be ahead in the points when the bell rings, and win by decision. And that's what happened. That's a huge win, because for me, I felt the frustration of, I should have been able to get this done faster. And, I'm like, I go. Like, so being stuck in one courthouse for a day,
It's tough.
it's, my mind is racing with all the things that I need to be doing the other courthouses that I had to skip because I got held over because of this, that, the other, the roof caught on fire, all these crazy things that happen.
Sometimes the day didn't, not sometimes, very often the day doesn't go the way you plan it to. It's one of those things where you just kind of, I know you hate the white space, but I'm hoping you're using that white space a little bit to kind of give yourself a buffer.
Drives me nuts.
But it does. But
nuts.
Man, I had a win today that's kind of a personal win. It doesn't have anything, I guess it's related to my business, but more so I'm the take charge, get shit done, get out of my way. If you can't do it, let me just do it. And I had to stop myself today.
Did you know he was like that?
And we did a home theater today, and, it was going smooth. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? It's time to put the heat on Big Country a little bit. And, we were talking about this before, but the win I'm taking away from today was I was able to stop being the technician and become the tactician today, like you said, and then let him kind of deal with some chaos and me create a little bit of chaos. But then at the end of the day, had a little tailgate meeting and explained to him why I have put him in that situation. And I kind of had an aha moment, like, leading this guy into some success here. You know what I mean? So obviously the business is doing well, but more importantly for me is making sure that if I can help him grow, then we grow together. So I kind of had that aha moment today, and it was powerful because I was thinking about it on the way home, and I was thinking, damn, I'm like turning into a real boss and shit.
Fucking reality don't hit you smooth in the jaw. You're like, oh my gosh, this is what it's about. This is entrepreneurism. This is growth. This is what you're striving for.
Yeah.
This is your legacy that you're going to be leaving your son.
Yep.
This is a legacy that your grandchildren are going to be able to look back on. Be like, yeah, man, my dad was a fucking rock star, then became a black level freaking business owner. You know what I mean? Who knows what the world is going to set on fire for? Same with you, KC. Like, we are destined for greatness. No matter what your freaking childhood story is bullshit. It is the past. You cannot dwell in the past. You must fail forward. I'll say that one more time, folks. You have to fail forward in order to freaking get the results that you want in life.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
Tear off the rear view.
Let's get some shout outs real quick. So Lewis, my man, talking about donuts, man. I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry, brother. We love you, man. I hope everything is well. We've got to get some donuts. He said Casey's boxing people for donuts.
I know it.
Fucking
and that's coming from Lewis?
It is.
God dang, Lewis.
Oh man, we got a couple other people here, man. So Casey put together Jack Burkeville. Haven't seen you on here before, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, Jack.
Oh,
Jessica.
Jack's part of my new team down in Houston. He's coming in to freaking open up a Houston location for Doc's Roofing.
Yeah, Jack.
That's what's up.
Jessica, thanks for joining us as well. So,
thanks, Jessica.
Hey, so this month is all about time and production, right? We're using the shot clock, the 24 seconds like we talked about last week. You guys go back and rewatch that one. I think we came out with some solid information on that one. Again, we're creating physical, digital copies of all of this content. So if you'd like, you can hit us on our email at Patriot Business Alliance TX@gmail.com. And we'll put the scroller up in here in a minute. But imagine turning your 24-hour day into 3 hours. Can you even do it physically?
Well, right? It happens every day.
Okay, so explain it to us. Let's hear it.
So, these aren't my stats, folks. These are the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And out of your 40-hour work week, that boils down to about an 8.8-hour workday per individual, per average individual. Why the hell would you ever want to be average? But whatever. That's a whole nother thing, right? And the deal is 8.8 hours does include the commute time, right?
Which is a beating in itself,
right? So if you're doing that long drive across the bridge and the long drive back, I mean, I don't see how 0.8. That's only 40 minutes. That's half your commute in Dallas.
What's a commute?
Exactly, right? I mean, so we're the three of us are we're time. We're time oriented, right? So we know that we need to be close to our business, close to our customers, and that's not saying we won't drive for a customer. Like I'll make that 42-mile drive that's 84, it's 84 round trip. It's 89 round trip to Collin County. It's 60 something to Hunt County. It's 90 to Kaufman. And it's 86 to Van Zandt, right? I'll make those commutes just like you guys will for your customers, right? But so that 8-hour workday gets smaller, and then there's the making hot beverages, drinking caffeine, office gossip, this, that, the other. So the BLS, or maybe we should call it BS, Bureau of Statistics, they say 2 hours and 53 minutes. That's less than 13 hours a week. That's your average employee. Again, why the hell would you want to be average? But your average employee is working 12.5 hours per week. And, the thing here is if you think you're strapped for time, you aren't. You just have to get educated about it. That's the purpose of this.
I don't want to gloss over those numbers because these are statistics that we found these aren't our numbers. We did the research on this. 3 hours a day. Let's take our employees away from this. Are we only getting 3 hours of business done a day at us sitting in this room?
I don't feel like that I am.
I feel like I'm getting way more production out of my day.
Yeah, I mean, I've started implementing. I now wake up 30 minutes earlier. I know it doesn't sound like a huge step,
You can
right?
So you can use that.
I used to get up at 6 a.m. Now I set my clock for 5:30 a.m. My goal is to be a 4:30 a.m. person like KC, like real talk, because of this right here.
Yeah.
Right. Because of this 24-hour clock.
So you're creating a new.
I'm creating new fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm creating new
what we
time.
talked about last night.
Yeah, I'm implementing the stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, we're
right.
I'm out there to own it.
I'm applying the information that we're providing to you, the listeners. So if you guys out there think for one iota that we're just out here spewing shit for our own personal well-being, we eat this shit for lunch, dinner, breakfast, side hustle. I mean, this is what we do. And
on a sandwich with mustard.
No onions, no fucking onions. Okay, that's just my gig. That's just where I'm at in life.
I like that. I like that you're creating new time, because that was a big thing we brought up last week. And I don't know, I get it, right? When you said what's commute? I used to commute 4 hours a day, two there, two back when I lived in San Diego still. So I was up at 3:30, 4 o'clock some days to be at work at 7. So I created my own time there too. It's important, guys. Look, Casey mentioned it here, and I'll give this back to you in just a second. If you think you don't have enough time, it's bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
Call it what it is. It is what it is. Go ahead and carry on, because I just didn't want to gloss over the 3 hours, because I want us to be accountable as well. I feel like I'm at a 10, 12-hour day every day. I'm getting at least 7 out of it. I'm not going to lie. There's 5 hours of emails, phone calls, text messages, check the Facebook, upload a new picture, all this other bullshit. But, dude, 3 hours a day, I can't even imagine.
So here's how I stole my time back, right?
Yeah, let's talk
about here's how I stole my time back from myself. So I created a time because I'm growing. I have now 7 people that are willing, that want to have the same success that I'm having. But now my time was being eaten by phone calls from them, or opening up the door. Hey man, you got a sec? So now I said, you know what? I don't have a fucking sec. If you have something you want to talk to me about, I need you to put it out on his board, right? You got a minute board. So therefore I can shut my door and I can hyper focus for the next hour and a half. Because when you guys are hyper focused on completing an objective, you will get it done in a timely fashion with the results that you're looking for.
Dude, that's making that note. Yeah, I love that idea, because when you start gaining employees, I only have one right now, but it takes more time. Like one thing I didn't think about when I hired Big Country was the management of him.
Mm-hmm.
Not of his schedule, his work, his QC. Like, I was on lock with that. I'm good. But the management of him, we were talking about being a number in a big corporate America, rah, 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 whatever. And he hit me with this. He said, I like that you just ask me about my kids every now and then. Just something as simple as that goes so far to them. But the fact that you have to break down your schedule now to say, hey, do you have a minute on a board out there, means that you're implementing exactly what we've been talking about staying hyper focused and almost breaking your hour into 3 segments.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big believer.
We got to become creative, right? With our minimal amount of time we got, because the fact remains the same. We have to sleep for 6 hours. We have to go to the restroom, and we think, oh wow, that didn't take too much time.
Got to get some shower.
You got to eat. You got to get a haircut. You got to shower. You got to do these miscellaneous things.
Yeah.
And those are all moments in time that you don't get to keep and utilize to the best of your skill set.
You don't get it back.
You don't get it back. So when somebody interrupts me and I'm fucking boom, 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 and I stop, I've just lost all of my fucking synergy into that thought process. And I go, all right, what's up? Let's get this done. Yeah. And then there's a train effect, right? Because then we go on to the next thing, and next thing I know, fucking 20 minutes done, gone.
Like that.
Gone. And you don't think 20 minutes is a lot of time, but if you get interrupted 5 times at 20-minute intervals, right? 5 times 20 is what? 100 minutes?
Yeah.
Right? That's hours of change. Like, I'm not the greatest at math.
You're jumping right into what our first little section here is about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't even know if it was meant to be that way, but go ahead and continue with yours, because you're jumping right into what we're talking about right here.
Well, look, you want to take some notes. You want this content that, one, will make it downloadable, emailable, somethingable, I wish we could do a screen share, but you know,
Eatable?
something. But there's you know what Doc is saying. No matter how big and successful or not you are, you know, Warren Buffett, Bezos, the Dalai Lama, they all have the same 24 hours, right? They all have the same 168 hours a week. And Doc's talking about there's 3 gifts of time and I like to look at that as a gift because it's the only thing you can't buy more of, and it's not guaranteed where you get more, right? How much more you got, right?
No refunds on that.
Yeah, right. So hey man, another thing, don't care what your religious belief affiliation is, but your time is finite and it will be, and there ain't no atheist when the boat's taking on water. I just heard that once. And all I'll say is, you got to be thankful and humble for the time you have, because it is precious. You can't make more of it, can't buy more of it. So you get this 168. Then we divide that by 3. And that's, why 3? Because absolutely right. Sleep. A lot of people need 8 hours of sleep. I don't understand that. That's cool. But that's fine. I mean, everybody's body clock is different. Yeah. And there's nothing. It's just what it is, right? So sleep, you just take that 56 hours, gone, right? And then there's productive work time, and then there's all the things, right?
Yeah, everything.
All the things, right?
Chaos we call family, community, life.
Right. So those 56 hours of time, and those, I think you have to look at those as a gift. And even the sleep time, right? The recharge time, you've got to have that. I get up a little bit earlier.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, but it really isn't that much earlier, right? And the reason why is because 1, my body clock is cool with that, and 2, I like to get up, because if I don't get out of the door before 5, my son, who gets up almost as daggum early as I do, hey Matt, love you. He'll be downstairs and asking, can I go running with you? Can I go ride my bike with you? He wants to do this, this exercise stuff with me. And I'm like, man, it's the middle of the night. It's dark. Your mom would kill you. He should kill me. So, so I got to get out the door before I hear that little pit pat of little feet.
Man, just take them.
Well,
you won't regret it.
I know.
You won't regret it.
I know, but sometimes you just need to run.
Yeah.
And
no, I get it.
Sometimes you just need to do it.
Give me about 2 more years, man.
But that's kind of what you said. Like, you get up because that piece,
right,
is profitable to you for your day. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. Like that 30 minutes, even though it's 30 minutes, my routine gives me 45 minutes every morning where ain't nobody talking to me.
Right.
Kids getting ready, mom's getting ready. I'm just me.
You can just,
right? And
you're in the zone.
The fuck in.
You're in flow state. You're in flow state, right?
Exactly.
And that's the same thing. That 440. Get up.
Yeah.
I get up. I make a cup of coffee. I write my goals down. Right. I take my vitamins and I'm out the door. Right. Whatever the exercise is for that day, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Whether that's on the bike or on the street. Right. Pounding the pavement. But so this whole notion of, look, let's tell y'all something, the whole newness of the 8-hour workday. Like, here's one thing. Mm-hmm. If anybody here is too lazy for farm chores, right, raise your hand. Because I'm telling you what, man, there ain't no day off in farm chores. And here's the other thing you need to know about farm chores. Farm chores last from see to can't, right? Not from dawn to dusk, from see to can't, right? So you get up, usually before the sun,
always,
right? Beat the sun up, and you are working from the minute you can see outside. You take care of the chickens, the hogs, the orchard, the this, then the cows, then the fence, then the back to the orchards, back to the chickens.
And
back,
all that before you take care of yourself too.
Right. Then you can have breakfast, right? You do all your farm chores, but there's never a day off. It's 24/7. And so work weeks and work days were 10, 16 hours long. It was the Industrial Revolution that changed that, right? Broke it down into this little 8 hours, right? And there was this labor leader in England, Robert Owen, and he was 8 hours of labor, rest, and recreation. This is also interesting because this is how Major League Sports was born. People had an 8-hour workday, and then all of a sudden they could hang out in the public house or the pub or go watch a cricket match, right? They had money to spend because they weren't they were relieved of doing farm chores.
Right.
They could eat food that was prepared in a butcher shop or a bakery.
Yeah.
Right. And then they could go watch somebody bowl or cricket or whatever the hell it was. Right. So it was Henry Ford, right? Who and you guys, I like to give you the education. So you have the breakdown into why, because I think we hear so much information in our lives but you don't understand the why behind why do we do what we do, right? What does that mean? Yeah. And that's particular in my business because there's these big jargony words that freaking I don't even understand. I'm like, what the blankety? I need a bookmark and a highlighter to even figure out what the hell that guy just said. So, Henry Ford cut his work week to 8 hours. So 40, he was the first industrial revolutionist.
40-hour work week.
And he doubled everybody's wages. And guess what happened? Productivity,
went through the roof.
Right? And nobody could catch him for a decade, right? Yeah. And Cadillac had a far superior car, right? If you've ever seen ever see a Model T and how crazy it is to drive the steering wheel and you have to shift with your feet. There's no gear shift. Yeah. That was a Cadillac invention. That's why they call Cadillac standard of the world. Yeah, but Ford smoked him for a decade because of his.
Well, it's because of culture, and we were talking about that earlier. Because if you hire for culture, in my opinion, it's gonna work out better for you in the long run. If you just hire and fill a spot, that's a whole different.
And that's all you'll get.
That's it.
You'll get a spot filled. Mm-hmm. You'll fill a gap.
Yeah,
but wrong people on the bus. We covered that in a pre. What were you talking about? The right people on the bus,
right seat, right bus, right direction. You know what I mean? But if you have an empty seat and you just want that seat to be full just because you don't want to be off balance, well, you can put somebody in that empty seat, but that doesn't mean you found balance.
Yeah,
it just means you just plugged a hole.
Yeah, what I mean? That hole doesn't always stop the ship from sinking. If anything, that hole may make the hole bigger.
That's going to make the cog spin a little bit more kind of cranky because they're not going to have that synergy that you need with your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just not, and then it's going to be a big waste of freaking time.
So Henry Ford adopted this 40-hour work week, doubled the pay for the people, increased the culture, and then what?
And just dominated the market for at least another decade before General Motors and anyone came close.
So how do we apply that to our businesses today, or to the folks that, we had a good comment that came in last week, and we this is something we love feedback, candid, no bullshit feedback. Give it to us. Someone brought to my attention, hey, why don't you guys talk a little bit more about the guy that wants to start the business instead of the guys like us who have already been in the game for a few years. So
sure,
let's hit this production topic for this one here. If you're thinking about starting a business, how does this apply to you?
Well, in my opinion, when I wanted to start my own business, it was actually to get some of my time back, right? Because I was working as a sales rep for a company that required me to be up at dawn, because it was a surgery center. I did orthopedic sales, right? And I did physical therapy. So I had to be there before surgery started. I had to be there after surgery. And then I had to be there in the patient's room later on that evening. So I was putting in 18-hour days.
Long days.
Right? Then going to college, right? I was going to college full time, and I was just running ragged, and I was making pennies on the fucking dollar. Like, I'm telling you what, guys, I was making like $3,200 a month. Like, I know
that to nowadays time, you're making your own money in your own time.
Right. So I was like, man, what can I do? Because then you see these doctors, right, driving the Land Rovers, right? And I'm seeing the owner of the company I work for driving, the nicest thing, going to Florida, going on these vacations, showing me these photos of this. And so all these seeds began to get planted in my brain housing group, right? So if you're out there and you're on that fence, I was like, man, I want to do my own thing. I want to be my own boss. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Right? I did it because I wanted my time back with my family. I did it because I wanted to live a lifestyle that I lived in the past, right? And I didn't want that lifestyle no more.
Yeah, because you get beat up doing that shit.
Yeah.
You get real beat up real fast. And
physically, mentally, spiritually, you can just it's just a very daunting deal to live broke.
So
hard.
being the youngest business owner in the room right here, right now, it's more fresh to me than maybe you guys, as far as, you know, the productivity is key, right? And I did for the first 2 years a full-time job plus black level, right? So my time management and my production had to be up here on both, right? So I had to maintain my responsibility as an employee, but I also had to grow my business to see where I can take this thing, right? And thank the Lord it took off, right? But I'm gonna tell, if you're looking to jump the fence, listen to this tonight and take away from it one thing that you can apply to your plan, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would say, because it is difficult to kind of put all this stuff together when you start a business. There's so many moving parts. Talk to your people that are around you. Talk to the OGs that have been doing business for a decade. You know, this man just hit a decade. He going on what, 11, 12 years? Seven? Oh, you hit the decade.
He hit the decade.
I hit 10 years this month.
So we're at 4, 7, and 10 here. So just take something away. If you're looking to make that leap, the first thing is exactly what Doc said. Make sure you're making that leap for the right reason, because the grass is always greener, ain't it?
Every single time.
Well, and something that I'm going to echo both of, you know, exactly correct. Hey, Instagram, what's up? Doc was exactly correct. And we got to give the IG some love.
What's going on?
It's still going.
No, it's going, man. And we got the followers on there.
Oh, get some.
Yeah, see, it's just got to be on a personal. That's cool. But here's the deal. I wanted my time back too, because, you know, I felt like that. Felt like that kid in Fight Club. You know, you're flying all over the country. You know, you got your single server. Hey, man, I met this cool guy on the way to Atlanta. You know, we had a you know, a chat and a card game on the plane. I'll never see that dude again, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like your life's ticking away. You're flying around. You're not feeling rewarded. You're not feeling fulfilled. You're missing your family, and you're working like a dog for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started thinking like, you know, I mean, if I'm going to work this dadgum hard, if I'm going to grind this hard, if I'm going to be gone this much, I'm going to do it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to do it for my wife. I'm going to do it for my kids. I'm going to do it for the legacy that I want to freaking create.
Right. Not for this idea of security, because you got to check on 1 and 14.
Because we all know 401ks are bullshit.
Right. You give the bank no, that's a whole nother, we'll get into the money talk, but that's not tonight.
It's coming.
This is the time talk. But here's the deal, man. The 1 and the 14, man, those are chains.
Yeah.
Right? The 1st and the 14th, that payday,
yeah.
Those are chains, man.
Give me paycheck Friday.
And paycheck Friday. You know, back when I worked at a Ford dealership, when I just got out of the military, I took a little summer gig at a Ford dealership, and I just needed to make a little extra money, and they didn't have a heavy truck guy. And, you know, FYI, boats don't have brakes or air conditioning. But, okay, they wanted me to work on heavy trucks. Cool. Yeah, go figure, right? But I was a hot rodder, so I knew what I was doing at that point. Anyhow, you know, like these boys come in for like the Friday, then they take the check, the paper checks come in, then they take the paper check down to the cashier's office, get money, and go to this strip club and be broke on Friday afternoon, man, like broke.
So that's lesson number 1 as a new business owner. Don't waste your money at the strip club.
Yeah.
First off.
Don't waste. I mean, I'll give you 21 things that you can do with your damn money.
Well,
but we're not going to do that. Don't get me hyped up on the money talk, because I will.
Let's talk about this, because we want to try to compress, like we talked about, 60 minutes into 20-minute increments. So you new business owners, or you people looking to jump, this is for you right here. So let's talk about how we compress 1 hour into 3 segments and maintain that hyper focus, right? And compressing your day, that 1 hour into 3 one is a must do for the day, right?
Right.
And these are the things we've also talked about as well, is not only the must do's, but the must don'ts.
Yeah. Okay. Right? So that's huge. That's huge. So, you know, when I was a young business owner and I was starting to figure out my own productivity, I mean, there's a couple things, you know, y'all all know that I'm a huge fan of Grant Cardone. I bought into his training program. I bought my boys some Grant Cardone swag. What's up, Uncle G? We're representing tonight. But, you know, before I encountered Grant Cardone, there's a really great author named Donald Miller, and he's got some great ideas. And one of them is on productivity. And if you get on his website, you can download his daily planner, man. And it's awesome. And it worked for me for a long time. But compress your workday into 3 big goals. These are your must-dos for the day.
So you're talking globally for the day.
Right. And this was Donald's or Mr. Miller's point of view. And, he's a great author and does some other stuff. But his point of view was your brain really has capacity for 3 massive projects a day. I'm not talking about the shit in your junk drawer, because he's got a little trick to get rid of that too, right? But you write down your 3 must-dos. They're big, right? The big, hairy, audacious goal. I'm going to get this client. I don't care how many punches I take in Dallas County. Bing, bing, bing. I'm going to get this client an order. That's the reason why he came to do business with me. I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to take the licks. That's what I'm talking about. Or whatever, the thing that you had to do today to educate your protege, right? That was one of your big licks. Maybe not one of the one you planned, but that took a lot of mental, right? Yeah. That took hyper focus. And then write these 3 goals down. Make sure you save time to accomplish them. Yeah. More importantly, what Mr. Miller, and I love this about him, it worked for me for years. Write down the things that you're going to reward yourself with when you finish, because you motivate your brain. Like for me, for a long time, I'd be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the kitchen and I'm going to make myself an espresso. In fact, I'm going to make it a double, right? So if I get this thing knocked out I imagine it's going to take 11. I'll be done with this by 11. I'm going to go get me an espresso in the kitchen. I'm going to grind up some beans. Bam. Like and then another thing that he recommended was empty out the junk drawer of your mind. We have these running to-do lists. Don't keep it up here, right? Because a pencil is worth more than a long memory. Dude, and how many times have you had a coworker, an employee, or even a boss that you've said, hey, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Write that down.
I use that as same.
Write that down. Yeah. And then they friggin' forget it. Why? They didn't write it down.
I had the same conversation with Big Country today. And I'm like, hey, I was firing off some things that you unexpectedly, to number 1, see how you would react to it. And number 2, how you were going to document that and organize yourself. I use that on a daily basis. You know what I mean? I'm a checklist monkey, dude. I got a checklist for everything.
Hey, you know who else does? Drew Brees, Drew Bledsoe, Dak Prescott. They got a little checklist right there on their wrist. Yeah. And if you don't fill your mind up, you don't need to know what Omaha Blue 64. Peyton Manning he calls that play every game. He doesn't remember what the hell it is. He's got to look at the notepad. Why? Because he's got more important things to think about, like the linebacker who's trying to kill him. If they can use a notepad, you use a notepad.
Doc, talk a little bit about, so we always talk and we always hear, and people tell us that are more successful, write your goals down. But what we don't hear often is something that Casey just said, which kind of struck me, was write down the rewards. Yeah. You always tell me, hey, man, you work so damn hard, when you're going to reward yourself. And it's something we always talk about. Let's hear from you about that, because I'm
a firm believer in rewards. Yeah. Like I love affirmations. I love trophies. I love getting stuff, right? Because that's what makes me happy. That's what fills me with happiness. And so, and I do that, right? Like I do it subconsciously. I don't even know that I'm doing it, but when you phrased it that way, like, and it even sounded kind of crazy, I told myself that I wouldn't get lunch today until I completed these estimates for my clients, right? That was my reward. That's what kept me hyper focused. No matter how hungry I was, I knew there was something more important that I needed to accomplish so that I could make sure my clients were satisfied, right? Or I can't go like,
so you're giving yourself a little bit of motivation to continue along.
Yeah, but otherwise I can just throw in the towel, because oftentimes as your own boss, they're never gonna tell me what the fuck to do.
Dude, I'm going in and out. You can't stop me.
Nobody can stop me.
Write me up, Brannigan. You go ahead and write me up.
You know what I mean? The worst case scenario is you just go and find another client. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you have to give yourself some sort of a reason or an incentive to complete that task.
That's something I got to do better, man.
You know what I mean?
I'm goal-oriented and I'm hitting goals, but I'm not taking advantage of those goals yet. Now, I am in certain way, I'm reinvesting back into my business, and I'm doing the things that are my 10-year plan now to get me to 10 years. But I'm not going to lie. When I see you on the beach, taking those pictures with the family, I'm like,
kind of sad.
I'm not at the beach, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
because you're at the bank.
Yeah. But, so here's the deal. Like, the takeaway from
that's from Uncle G too. Love you, Uncle G.
To break your first off, to continue along being productive in the day, you got to first start in the planning phase, right? And plan your day out in 3 big goals. So that way, when you're executing, you know why you're executing those steps in the day. And obviously, shit happens. We talked about it a
The
lot
creep,
last week.
right?
Go back. I'm telling you, go back and listen to last week. It was a great conversation. But let's say now we need to break down 60 minutes into 20. How do we maintain that though?
How do you stay consistent?
Chaos is chaos.
So
right?
let me understand.
For the new business owner, how do you keep that program?
Well, first and foremost, you have to develop a system and process.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, this is critical.
Secondly, you need to establish accountability. With either it's going to be yourself who's going to hold you accountable. You got to find somebody. Don't do that. But if you ain't got nobody, you ain't got nobody. You got to be up, and that's where that reward factor comes in. That's my accountability.
Okay.
You got to starve until this happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So like I love working out, but if I know that I have something more pressing to do, then my reward is, Mike, if you get this shit knocked out in a timely fashion, you can find 45 minutes to sneak in and get your shit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like you're becoming a magician with your time.
Yeah.
Okay. You're having to put cloaks on certain things so you can make those disappear, so you can make other things reappear.
Yeah.
Right. If that analogy makes sense.
That totally does. Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, if you're wanting to get into to become a business owner, to become an entrepreneur, understand that without having a plan in place, some sort of an idea, a vision, you have to be a visionary.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, you have to become a visionary to be able to see the end result.
Yeah.
Right. And to be able to stay within inside that 20-minute window that you've given yourself, you better have it better have been written.
The most favorite thing you said there is the accountability thing for me, because I was halfway joking when I said, hey, I don't recommend you hold yourself accountable. You always have to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
If you can't hold yourself accountable, how are you going to lead others to hold themselves accountable? But the other serious part of that is to get yourself an alliance of guys or gals that are like-minded. They don't have to. We're all in different industries. Every freaking one of us.
Completely 1 million
You know what I'm saying?
different.
So, but Doc can call me and say, hey, did you do what you said you're going to do yesterday? You just did it right before, fucking right now. Hey, where's this? Ah, shit. And you know what I said? That's on me. That's my fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to handle it, right? So accountability starts with you every single time. But if you need a little push, need a little light up a fire, ask somebody. It's as simple as, hey, you want to hold me accountable? You come ask one of us. I'll be damned if we don't hold you accountable.
And we will. So the second thing that I learned as a very young entrepreneur was I sold my product before I ever had my product. Right? So before I ever even got into this industry and had the money to even back it, like I sold it first.
Yeah.
Right? Like I sold before I had.
Yeah, that's all right though. If
right?
You do it right.
You know why? Because I had no fucking money.
Yeah.
Right? I had nothing to buy. I couldn't afford the product, but I believed in the product.
Yeah.
I was passionate about the product. So I went out and I sold it. And once you sell enough of your product, you can take the leap of faith and say, bye, JOB.
Yeah.
I'm out because I've sold enough to make me sustainable.
I did that.
Right? Same concept applies. Yeah. And I don't just do it. Right?
Yeah.
Don't sit back and go, I got to wait for X, Y, and Z and the stars to align and the eclipse to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Don't sit back and wait for a magic sign because I promise you, it will never fucking show up.
Done beats perfect or great every time.
Every single time.
Done
I
beats perfect or great.
Yeah. I'm going to step right here, man. I got a book. It's right here. Not a book, but a little notepad.
You know, I did the same thing you were talking about, Doc, where it was like Black Level AV started with $0 in my Black Level AV account. Now, my business and my personal were completely segregated, so there was no way in hell I was going to dip into my personal funds and start my business. So if you're looking to start your own business or you're on the cusp of, man, I really want to do it, do it. No better time to make a change than right now, right?
No, you're 100%. You know what I mean? So we're talking to those people that are willing and ready to jump off the ship and say, you know what, I'm in. So you start before you're ready, right? And I remember, Jeff, man, I was in an office and he was in an office across the parking lot because he had called me. He's like, man, where can I get a cheap ass office? It's like, I know the spot.
Yeah,
Because I'm in the spot.
that was the hood.
I mean, the hood, son. I don't want to go into detail on how hood it was, but I promise you.
We won't give out the location, but it's a shithole.
Shithole. I'm talking $400 a month, all bills paid. But don't worry about it. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey man,
And-
I started in a closet.
Yes.
Literally, it was
Fucking
the
Better
old,
Call Saul.
it
Come
was
on,
literally
man.
the back of a beauty salon.
Yes.
Strip mall.
Come
It was in a
on.
strip mall.
I love that. Get started though.
Right.
because-
You start before you're ready.
Yeah.
Because you'll never, ever be ready.
No.
You'll never be able to manage time if you're never ready to manage time.
Well, unless you're put in, I always say change comes in uncomfortable situations.
That's right.
I absolutely live my life by that. Unless you put yourself in that uncomfortable situation, you're going to stay complacent. And what is complacency? It kills.
Yeah, every single time.
Complacency will kill your motivation, your desires, your wants, like all of that, man.
So, and
That's,
another.
again, we're talking about the chains, right?
Yeah.
The 1st and the 15th.
Well,
What happens on the 1st? It's payday Friday.
Paycheck
Goddamn.
Friday.
The worst day at any hospital. Correct me if I'm wrong. The worst day at any hospital is payday Friday, full moon. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Why? Because people lose their shit.
Yeah.
They go cash that check.
Hit the strip club.
They hit the strip clubs. They're broke, shot, dead, stabbed by midnight.
40 ounces to freedom.
That's it. That's exactly
Okay?
it. It's a great
Like,
song, but it's
You know what I mean?
it's
It's
true.
Sublime. God
Yeah.
rest their souls. Love some Sublime. Another thing that I want to mention for those that are getting ready to launch their new success, their new entrepreneurship, their them becoming their own business owner, is you better begin to fucking pick up a book and begin to get knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Right? There are tons and tons and tons of great books out there. You got Grant Cardone's 10X Rule. You have Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Man, there's a
You
lot
have
of them,
you have Cash Flow Quadrants by Rob Kiyosaki. You know what I
The
mean?
one you recommended, Catching Fire.
Stealing Fire.
Stealing Fire. That was amazing. If
And-
I had not read that, I read a lot of books on self-development. That book, I had not heard of it. It's amazing. I recommend everybody read it.
It will blow your mind.
It will blow your mind on so many levels.
But it is. I'm not downgrading anybody or not trying to talk down to anybody. But it is an upper level book. Like it will freaking challenge your mindset. It will challenge your thought process. You will think you are reading something that wasn't supposed to be written. But it is a great. A couple other things, man. What that 20-minute that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. You want to be able to understand how valuable those 20 minutes are. So then, in order to understand that, you need to understand how valuable you as a person are worth. Right.
Dude, that's critical, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
if you think you're a $7-10 an hour person, then your time is not as valuable.
Well, your mindset,
Well-
if your mindset is at a $7 to $10 an hour person, you're always going to be at a $7 to $10 value.
That's right.
You need to
switch
blow that up,
mindset.
man.
Yeah.
right. And here's a way, like young entrepreneur. Here's a way. We're going to go back to Donald Miller's just real simple coaching, right? And his business book is not about. It's really not about business coaching or what have you. It's really about how to market yourself more effectively. But one of the things that he talks about is write down what you would do if you could live today over. Right? Play the whole day forward in your mind. What would you do if you had today to live over again? What would you do different? That's powerful, right? To actually sit down, you know what, man? Maybe instead of this, whatever, that I'm, all jacked up about being frustrated, maybe I ought to write some content for the PBA. Maybe I ought to walk to the park with my boy and have a catch. Maybe I ought to, whatever it is, right? Maybe I ought to take my little girl to, a meal, just daddy and daughter time, right? Just no phones, no electronics, no tablets, just me and her, Sonic, right?
So what do you think that does for you, though? I like that because I'm thinking of two things I could have done differently like that.
But it makes you realize how important every day is.
Your time is.
Yeah.
Because that's that's the critical part. That's what this whole month is about, is time, production, and how we can make more time, how we can make our time more valuable. I like that. I'm going to have to do that.
But what's crazy about that question is, right, because I strive so hard to maximize my day.
Yeah.
Right? To say what I'm going to do today is going to be so fulfilling that I don't want to relive my day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
when you pose that question, I think, well, fuck, did I mess up? Did I fail?
No.
But that's the way my brain went down the slope. I was thinking, okay, crap, what the fuck did I not do right that I need to do right?
That's a good instinct, though, because that instinct is you in here saying, how can I get better?
Right.
That's not a negative concept.
I'm not throwing it down as a negative, but when I read it and I saw it, and I was like, well, if I could relive today, what would I have done different? And my brain immediately went, well, shit, man, you got up at 5:30 like you're supposed to. You did this. You know what I mean? I started freaking checkboxing. I was like, I'd redo that. You know what I mean? So that's a very strong and astute question, because not all days go as planned.
No. And again, this is a question you ask yourself at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
And again, it's a question you ask yourself, in my opinion, at the beginning of your entrepreneurship, right? When you're a solopreneur, when you're a guy in a closet, you're the head mail clerk, the head file clerk, the lead trial attorney, the lead paralegal, the lead receptionist. You're wearing every hat in the company because the company is of one, and that's not a company. That's a job. That's a job, right? And it's not a company till you have multiplied yourself. But the thing is that was critical when starting, right? That's an accountability question. Like, dude, right? Because then you're going to start relooking at everything and prioritizing in a different light. Nowadays, I felt like I'm beyond that, but I will tell you as a young beginner, and if Donald Miller still doesn't have that accountability planner out there for free, I bet he does. Check out his website, his publishing. He's a fantastic author, and get that. And if that's some content that you could use, I'll find a way to get it for you.
But I will tell you this: ask me that question 5 years ago, I could have given you a list of shit that I would have redone. On a daily basis.
Yeah, but now 5 years in, 7 years, 10 years in, 5 years in, 7 years in, you know that you leave nothing on the field.
Right.
At the end of the
I'm
work.
giving everything.
Like you're exhausted. Like just like when you leave the gym, right? Just like when you tackle that big ass hill at the end of your 2.2 in Chandler's, right? You've left nothing out there to.
Yeah, I pull into the driveway on E, folks.
Yeah, on E.
I pull in, and
greatness takes everything.
But then I refuel, right? Because as soon as I open up the door, I see my wife, I see my kids, and I get re-energized, and you know what I mean? And that's really what I'm working for, and I take that time. So when you say, man, I want to be on the beach, like I put everything I can into making my family happy. You know what I mean? Because I can't buy that shit, right? Some people know that I got my shit stolen. I tried persistently to get, just so that I can make sure my kids will have a good time this weekend out riding with my family.
Yeah.
Right? I've pulled fucking heaven and hell and high water to get everything ready to rock and roll. And my wife's like, what are you doing all this shit for? I was like, man, because my boy, my son, my daughter, they're going to be like so pumped. Because when they're 30 years old and they got their kids of their own, they're going to remember that their dad did everything possible to make sure that they were fucking their number one priority. You know what I mean? And it's extremely important. Don't get me all emotional and shit.
If you're asking yourself why you want to start your own business, or why do you feel like you're done with the man or the that right there is a living testament. That may not be everybody's story, but everybody has something like that inside of them. So step one is, why are you doing this? Why do you want to be your own boss? Because the shit ain't easy. I promise you that. Anybody that says, hey, I want to own my own business because it's a cakewalk, man,
shit.
They probably had somebody foot the bill for them to get going. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, there's nothing easy about starting your own business.
But it's the most rewarding, without a question. Man, I left a solid job, making a lot of stinking money, to start over for nothing.
Yeah.
To put a 15-year project management career behind me and pick up my hammer and go install systems again. It was humbling, and it was hard. And, it's been years since I started, and I'm seeing the dividends now. But again, it's been years. Like, if you're looking for an overnight success, starting a business.
And play the lottery. Play the fucking lottery. If you're looking for overnight success, play the
Better
lottery.
yet, come give me that $5 a week. I'll take that shit.
Yeah. So, but you're absolutely right, Jeff. And I remember talking to you the day that you filed your LLC, and we had that talk. We had that hard talk, and I told you, I said, man, from now until about 4 years from now, you're gonna fucking question yourself
every day.
Every day. What the fuck am I doing, Mike? What am I doing? Your wife's going to question you. Everybody's going to question your damn sanity.
Yeah.
Right? But I said there'll be a pivot where you'll have an aha moment and you'll go, fuck yeah, that's why I did it.
And I think I've come in the last 2 weeks with 2 aha moments that we've talked about.
Right.
So
and
it's happening, folks.
I just got fucking chills, bro. Like,
it's
real
happening,
talk.
man. Like, I'm telling you, stick with it. Understand why you're doing it. If you want to start your own business, find out why. And then get with somebody like us if you want to sit down. Casey's the man with the legal stuff. Doc's the man with the 10 years. I'm the man with just hustle and grind. We can help you put together the business plan, the why you want to do it, how you're going to do it, and surround you with the people that can help you get there. So that's what this whole thing's about, gents.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
That's why we do this on a weekly basis for over a year now, just to see somebody come out of this and say, you know what? We've heard it a couple of times. Hey, that conversation you had something weeks ago, you know what? It impacted my business.
Yeah. Let's bump straight over to this exercise so we can give our viewers some homework. I'm looking at the clock and we're running on.
No, that's okay. That's the whole point.
I didn't realize we came through so quick.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like warming up. Like when the band takes the stage.
Maybe we should talk.
Maybe we should have an encore.
Yeah,
and then hit the live.
That's right.
Right, but so again, it's all about productivity, and one of the things that we talked about is, most of us really have no idea how we're spending our time, and we missed a segment because we did a deeper dive on that first segment, right? So we missed a whole segment on the things that we allow.
Well, give us a 2-minute.
Yeah.
So like
let's not skip it. Yeah.
Well, we can do it. We can do it.
Because to prioritize is extremely important.
Right. It's the
Don't get me wrong.
prioritizing, right? And we're just going to hit on this.
So hit us with it.
Super fast, right? You got to. How do you prioritize? Well, I think that to me starts with defining why. Mm-hmm. You asked that question a minute ago. Why do you want to be your own business owner? Because I promise you, you're going to be the worst if you take the right amount of action, which is the action that is required for success. You're going to be the worst boss you've ever had, and the most demanding, the most hard on the failures, the learns.
Yeah.
And you've got to know why are you doing this thing? Why this thing and not another thing? And then evaluate the things that are taking your time, that you're allowing to take your time, right? And evaluate that against your why. For Doc, it's that, he comes into the driveway on E, if I'm paraphrasing this right. You come into the driveway on E, you open up the door, here comes the little one, there's the wife, the kids, you're immediate, that's your why.
Yep.
Right, I think. And very similar for you, when the devil pup and y'all are doing your thing, you're going out there to the range, making the brass sing, whatever the thing is that makes right. But that's what it is. When you're evaluating productivity, time management, you got to make sure that these other things that you're creeping into your life,
that they're factors.
But do they polish? Do they sharpen the saw? Hanging out with these guys sharpens the saw.
That's right.
Right. This thing is in alignment with my value for my business, my life, my family, and my church, right? Whatever your deal is, right? Yeah. Is it part of a solid foundation for developing and achieving and reaching your goals? Or does it take away? Right? Or is it something you do simply because it brings you joy or happiness? Ride a motorcycle in South America, right? Man, what does that have to do with sharpening my business? Nothing. But it's the challenge to know that I can ride 3,000 miles, right? In the freaking dirt, in the cold, down with the friggin' penguins, right? The testing yourself so you're better than when you rode 3,000 miles up through Alaska, right? Right? You challenge yourself, a bigger challenge every time, right? And then, bringing you joy, right? Smoking a bunch of bad guys on Halo, which I got to admit, I'm starting to really love. But you know those things, you know. But you know, then there's the bullshit that you allow to creep in, right? You know, like is there that buddy that you know he's really cool until he's had, you know, like you know, until he turns into Cousin Eddie, right? He gets one too many, you know, whiskey tangos in him, and then the next thing you know, you're like, you know, hey, do you need a bail bond? I mean, what's about to go down, right? And then maybe the two of you together are bad synergy, right? Right? Or is that show on Netflix that you've watched a couple times? I mean, how many more times you got to see Lost, you know, or Breaking Bad? You've seen it once, right? Is that really in alignment with what you could be doing? You know, that book you should be reading, the prep for tomorrow you could be doing. And you know, again, then here's another big one, controversial, or sometimes controversial. The things that don't align either need to be ditched, outsourced, delegated, eliminated. That's how you get productivity, right? You multiply yourself, you make an investment of money that your clients have given you so you can outsource the thing. I'm one of the best motorcycle and car mechanics I've ever met. That doesn't mean that's what I should be doing with my time.
Right.
100%. If it brings me joy, if it's just one of them Saturday mornings that the kids are doing something else and I want to do an oil change on my old BMW, that's fine. Or my old Harley, that's fine. If it's something that's going to bring me joy and I'm just going to know that I'm going to waste 2.5 hours dinking around, you know, getting all the little, you know, wrenches out, torquing everything proper, that's fine. But if it's something that, you know, Doc, what is the purpose of the side-by-sides? To bring joy to the family. You should not be the guy fixing them on Friday. You don't need to be up till 11 trying to make the damn things work so you can go play with them on Saturday.
So let me
outsource it.
Let me paraphrase this for you. So in order for you to maximize your time, you want to be productive with the way you spend your time, which means sometimes you have to reinvest your money back into your business. If I handed Doc a website to build, that's a waste of his time and my time.
Yeah.
Right? Same with me, right? So we're going to have somebody build our website. We're going to have somebody do our bookkeeping. We're going to have somebody do our taxes because you know what? We're better. Our skill sets are better used in other places. Yeah. So that's the end result, right? Is to be 100%.
Would you do your own brain surgery?
Yeah. Be intentional with how you use your time.
Yeah. And it boils down to the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Right? Do 20% of what you're great at and delegate the other 80.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And once you begin to dive deep into who you are as an adult, I don't know about y'all. I didn't mature until I was about yesterday. Okay, like it just happened.
The jury's still out on that.
Yeah,
one.
So we're still. I sent out
get Rochelle on the.
I sent out a poll, and I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'll never mature if I don't put in the effort and the work to see how other mature people act.
Hold yourself accountable.
Right? And this little thing that he read, outsourced, delegated, or eliminated. That big key word, eliminated. Right? Because oftentimes we're afraid to eliminate and hurt somebody's feelings. I don't give a shit if it's politically correct or not. If that person is causing harm in your life and holding you back, bye, motherfucker.
Without a question. Without a question.
And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I had to do it. I had to do it with friends. I had to do it with family. I had to do it. And it was hard, right? It was hard to shut the door on the past. But I will say this. The past happened for you and not to you.
Wow.
Okay? The past happened for you and not to you. If it wasn't for my past, I would not be in this chair today.
I've never heard it put that way, but that's just
okay. Your fucking mind just you become willing and keep an open mindset to be able to change for the better so that you can serve others better, you will be successful. That is, you know what I'm saying? You will. There's no doubt in my mind.
The past, say it again, the past what?
The past happened for you and not to you.
That's huge, man.
Sorry, my shoe's untied and it drives me nuts.
Oh, there's gin. There's gin. No more 4-letter words.
No
right,
yeah.
Golf.
Golf.
Okay. So
yeah.
So here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. There's an exercise. We'll email it to you. We'll make it downloadable, emailable, somethingable. You'll get it. spend the next 2 days journaling. There's 2 days left in the work week for most of you, although, weekends are for the week, y'all. But spend the next 2 days journaling, right? Write down everything you do, right? So there's 1,440 minutes in one workday. You take away a third because you're asleep. That's 960 minutes. That's 48 increments of 20 minutes, right? Write down what you're doing, right? And do it frequently, right? Smaller intervals means you're going to get more useful data.
And it's going to be difficult, but it's going to pay out.
Make a few reminders on your smartphone. This is a 2-day exercise. Anybody can do anything for 2 days. You can stand on your head for 2 days. But this way, you'll be able to track what you're doing. Like, man, are you burning too much? How many times you got to watch Game of Thrones, or Justice League, or whatever it is that, you might enjoy watching, and where does that fall in your daily routine? Especially for a lot of folks, solopreneurs who are working out of their house, right? And there's some opportunity there, a little more opportunity than you might when you're accountable in a place. Again, renting that closet in the old unhistoric courthouse, right? You're paying money for that space.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying attention to what you're doing in it. And I think you're a whole lot more productive in a place you're paying rent on or got a lien against because you've got a bank loan for it or whatever that is, right? And why? Because you're paying for it, right? That, man, I really need to go to the office today because otherwise that's just a day of rent. Just put money in the oven and light it on fire.
It's a mindset thing,
right? I mean, you're going to pay attention to where your dollars are going and being invested. So again, this is a 2-day exercise. You fill out the worksheet regularly and it'll assist you tracking the time where maybe you're spending a little too much time doing things that aren't in alignment with your business. You go to lunch with your best friend. It's cool. Is your best friend ever going to buy anything from you?
Or does it need to be every stinking day? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You go to lunch. My best friend, George Freeman, and I went to lunch every day, probably for almost 5 straight years. Every day we were in Dallas together, not on the grind, flying all over the country. The day would start with a walk to Starbucks, no matter how hot it was. We're walking to Starbucks and getting our coffee, and then lunch. Yeah. Right. That was our day.
That's 45 minutes.
And then,
it's 45 minutes for breakfast, and there's probably another hour for lunch, right? Because you got waiting time, you got to let the coffee get cooler, then you want to sit there and shoot the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Times 5 is 10 hours of dead zone. So when you guys start looking at shit
and here's the
perspective,
thing: both attorneys never going to hire each other for shit.
That's right.
Right? Like we're never going to do business. Like
ever.
We're buddies.
Coming from the guys who get billed by the hour, right?
Yeah, right. Hey,
look, man, I think we took away a lot. I know we kind of skimmed through the latter parts of this, but I think we get so passionate about some of these things that we don't really care about the clock.
We'll save it for next time.
We're already over, but we're going to continue to talk about how we can utilize the clock. The 24-second clock is our theme all month long, and just with hopes that one person takes something away from what we're talking about each week and applies it to their business and becomes more successful every week. So
I'm in.
I love it, man. You guys got any say rounds?
No, man, just thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the love, the support. If you like what you're hearing, share it with your people. If you guys want to talk a one-on-one, any one of ours are available. We allot time so that we can help others grow, because the only way we're ever going to become even better than who we are is by seeing the success of others that we've touched.
That's it.
And that sounded weird, but don't fucking worry about it.
Not touched like that.
We got to go.
You end it on that one?
We got to go.
All right, boys.
We got to get
All right.
Y'all have a great night, IG. We love you. Thanks for tuning in.
Segue for a $10,000 Thursday tomorrow.
10,000.